Have you ever encountered someone in your life who seems to have an uncanny ability to control situations, manipulate emotions, or even influence your decisions without you realizing it? What if I told you that some of these behaviors aren't just clever tactics? They could be signs of something far darker. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into a topic that might sound unbelievable at first: the subtle signs someone in your life might be operating under the influence of witchcraft or dark, manipulative forces. And we're not just talking about broomsticks and potions. This is about psychological control, emotional manipulation, and the dangerous power dynamics that can exist within relationships. Drawing from the insights of C.S. Lewis, a master of uncovering the hidden evils of the human heart, we'll explore 5 signs to watch for. Stay tuned, because you won't want to miss this eye-opening journey into the unseen forces that could be at work in your own life. Let's begin. Sign 1. The manipulative nature. The first sign that someone in your life could be involved with witchcraft or dark forces is their manipulative nature. It might be hard to recognize, but over time, you'll start to see patterns. Manipulation isn't always loud or obvious. It's subtle, often masked by charm, empathy, or kindness. Yet, the intent behind it is far from innocent. It's about controlling, bending, and subtly guiding others to do what benefits the manipulator, all while making them believe they're acting of their own volition. The first type of manipulation to notice is emotional manipulation. A manipulative person can read you like a book. They know your fears, insecurities, and desires, and they use this information to control how you feel and what you do. For instance, they may manipulate your sense of guilt, making you feel responsible for their feelings or problems. If they're upset, they make you feel like it's your fault, even if it's completely unwarranted. This constant emotional tug-of-war wears you down over time, making you feel drained, confused, or even questioning your own actions and decisions. Another manipulation tactic to watch for is gaslighting. This is where someone makes you doubt your own perception of reality. They might deny things that you know are true, distort facts, or even make you question your memories. The goal is to erode your sense of self-confidence, making you more dependent on them for guidance or reassurance. You begin to second-guess yourself, constantly asking, "Did I really see that? Did I really hear that?" And slowly, the manipulator gains more control over you without you even realizing it. Next is how a manipulator will use charm to get what they want. At first glance, they may seem likable, even charismatic. They're charming, witty, and know just the right thing to say. They might shower you with compliments, make you feel special, and make you believe they're the person you've been waiting for. But beneath this facade, there's a deeper agenda. This charm is a tool to lower your defenses and get you to trust them, only to later exploit that trust for their own gain. Manipulation is often tied to a sense of obligation. Have you ever felt like you could never say no to someone, even when it's not in your best interest? This is a common tactic manipulators use. They make you feel like you owe them something, whether it's because of something they've done for you in the past or because of how they make you feel. They may convince you that you're selfish for not helping them, making you feel guilty for not giving in to their demands. C.S. Lewis, in his famous work The Screwtape Letters, explores how subtle manipulation works in the spiritual realm. Through the advice of a senior demon, Screwtape, to his nephew, Wormwood, Lewis illustrates how dark forces don't need to overtly control a person to influence them. Instead, they use small, insidious means, feeding on vanity, fear, and insecurity. A manipulator influenced by dark forces uses the same approach. They don't need to dominate you outright. Instead, they slowly wear you down, making you feel insecure and unable to stand firm in your own beliefs and decisions. If you find yourself constantly second-guessing your actions, feeling emotionally drained, or questioning your own reality because of someone's behavior, this is a warning sign. Manipulation isn't just a toxic trait. It's a sign of deeper control at play, often masked in kindness or love. Recognizing manipulation is the first step toward protecting your own well-being and reclaiming your sense of self. Sign 2. Disturbing knowledge of the occult. Another telltale sign that someone in your life may be involved with witchcraft or dark forces is a disturbing and unsettling knowledge of the occult. This is a sign that often manifests in the form of excessive knowledge about dark, hidden, or forbidden practices. They might have an almost eerie familiarity with rituals, symbols, and traditions tied to the occult, things that seem to go far beyond what a normal person would know or care to know. You might notice they casually reference ancient texts or rituals tied to dark spiritual practices. It's not unusual for them to speak with an air of authority about astrology, spells, tarot cards, or the significance of certain symbols, like pentagrams or runes. They might have an unnatural fascination with death, the afterlife, or forbidden knowledge. And while some of this could be explained by curiosity or interest in the supernatural, a deeper, more concerning pattern emerges when they seem almost obsessed with these topics. It's as though these subjects aren't just academic or philosophical discussions for them. They're personal, lived experiences. What's more alarming is the way they talk about these topics. It's not the usual surface-level interest many people might have in the occult, like reading about it for a thrill or exploring it in a fictional sense. No, their understanding runs deeper. They speak about the occult as though they've either studied it extensively or, worse, participated in it. This could range from knowing the exact ways to summon spirits or invoke certain energies to discussing rituals in a manner that feels more like a practiced skill rather than casual interest. For example, they might talk about rituals, potions, or amulets with such familiarity and ease that it gives you chills. You might find them using phrases like, "It's all in the power of the incantation," or they might have a strange sense of certainty when discussing the use of symbols to ward off evil. This kind of knowledge often goes beyond what a person could have learned through conventional means. It seems to come from a darker, more intimate place. You begin to realize that they're not just casually knowledgeable about these practices. They're deeply connected to them in a way that feels unnatural. In his writings, C.S. Lewis often warned about the dangers of dabbling in the occult. In the Screwtape Letters, he emphasizes how easily individuals can be drawn into dark forces under the guise of curiosity or intellectual exploration. He wrote that the devil doesn't always appear as a terrifying monster. Sometimes he disguises himself in intellectual pursuits or the allure of secret knowledge. In this context, the dangerous obsession with the occult that some individuals exhibit is precisely the kind of temptation Lewis describes. What might start as an innocent curiosity can quickly evolve into a consuming desire for hidden, forbidden power. When someone you know is deeply immersed in this kind of knowledge, especially when it's dark, forbidden, or sinister, it's a sign that something is off. They may not be actively practicing witchcraft, but their obsession with these dark elements can often lead them down dangerous paths. It's not just harmless curiosity. It's a thirst for power, control, and understanding that comes at a great cost. So if you start noticing this disturbing knowledge of the occult, whether it's their casual use of dark symbols, their expertise in esoteric rituals, or an almost obsessive interest in dark spiritual practices, it's important to take a step back and evaluate the impact they're having on you. The occult is a realm of dark power, and those who delve into it are often unknowingly inviting forces that can manipulate and control them. Recognizing this behavior early on can help you distance yourself from potentially harmful influences. Sign 3. The ability to change perceptions. The third sign that someone in your life might be influenced by dark forces is their uncanny ability to change perceptions, both their own and those of others around them. This isn't just about convincing people to see things their way. It's about having the power to alter reality, subtly shaping how people perceive situations, people, and even their own beliefs. People who are under the influence of dark forces often develop an extraordinary ability to manipulate how others view the world. It goes beyond mere persuasion or charm. It's a psychological manipulation that taps into the deepest parts of the mind. The goal is to shift a person's entire perspective, often without them realizing it. For instance, They may twist your understanding of events, making you question what you saw or heard. You might find that your own recollection of an argument, a meeting, or even a casual conversation changes the more you talk about it with them. They may convince you that what you thought was true isn't, leading you to doubt your own senses and memory. This ability to change perceptions can often be seen in how they shape others' opinions of people or situations. For example, they may subtly sway your opinion of someone you once trusted, turning you against them. They might plant seeds of doubt in your mind, making you question their intentions, their behavior, or their loyalty. They do this so seamlessly that you don't realize it's happening until the damage has already been done. The person who was once your ally now feels distant, and you wonder what went wrong. Another aspect of this is the way they manipulate their own image. They may present themselves in a constantly shifting light, adapting their persona to fit whatever situation they find themselves in. They might appear as the perfect friend one day, offering sympathy and support, only to suddenly take on a more domineering or controlling role when it benefits them. This ability to shift their persona at will is a powerful tool of manipulation. It keeps others on their toes, unsure of what to expect, and makes it difficult to truly understand their intentions or motivations. C.S. Lewis, in the Screw Tape Letters, explores how dark forces manipulate perception by attacking one's mind and beliefs. Screwtape, the senior demon, advises his nephew, Wormwood, to use doubt and confusion to cloud the human's judgment. Instead of openly convincing the person to do evil, Screwtape suggests creating an environment where the human's mind is clouded with distorted thoughts and false beliefs. This is the essence of altering perception. It's not about overt control, but rather subtle manipulation that makes the individual unsure of their own reasoning and worldview. In the context of someone influenced by dark forces, this manipulation of perception can be incredibly dangerous. They can make you see things that aren't there, make you doubt your own experiences, and lead you to question your reality. This constant distortion of perception erodes your confidence in yourself and others, leaving you more vulnerable to their influence. Over time, you may become increasingly dependent on their interpretation of the world, allowing them to guide your decisions, relationships, and beliefs. So, if you notice that someone in your life seems to have an almost supernatural ability to shape how others see things, to shift their perceptions, or even manipulate their own image for personal gain, it's important to step back and evaluate the situation. This kind of manipulation isn't just about getting someone to do what they want. It's about rewriting reality itself. And when someone has that kind of power, it's a clear indication that they may be influenced by darker forces, ones that seek to control and dominate through illusion. Sign 4. Isolation and control. The fourth sign that someone in your life may be under the influence of dark forces is the desire to isolate and control those around them. At first, it may appear as though they're just being protective or attentive, but over time, you'll notice that their actions serve to separate you from others, leaving you more reliant on them. One of the most insidious tactics they use is emotional isolation. They might subtly encourage you to spend more time with them and less with your friends or family. They may criticize those closest to you, pointing out their flaws, shortcomings, or how they've let you down. At first, these criticisms might seem like well-intentioned advice, but as they continue, you'll realize that their goal is to undermine your relationships with others. They want you to rely on them, to see them as your sole source of support and guidance. But isolation doesn't just happen through criticism. It can also be achieved by making you feel guilty or selfish for spending time with others. They might say things like, "I've always been there for you, but I can't believe you're spending so much time with them." They might imply that your loyalty should lie with them alone, creating a sense of guilt whenever you interact with others. This type of isolation erodes your support system, leaving you vulnerable to their control. As the isolation deepens, so does their control. Once they've distanced you from other sources of support, they begin to manipulate your decisions more openly. They might dictate where you go, what you do, or even who you speak to. The more isolated you become, the less you are able to see their behavior for what it truly is. You become dependent on them, And in doing so, you lose sight of your independence and judgment. The drive for control doesn't end with social isolation. It can extend into every aspect of your life. They may seek to control your time, your resources, and even your emotions. They might discourage you from pursuing your own goals or interests, redirecting your energy toward things that benefit them. Over time, you may start feeling trapped, unable to make decisions without their input or approval. You might even start questioning whether you're capable of making decisions on your own. C.S. Lewis in the Screwtape Letters delves into how demons work to isolate and control individuals. In one letter, Screwtape, the senior demon, advises his nephew Wormwood to create an environment of doubt and dependence in the human he is influencing. The goal is to make the individual feel cut off from others, especially from any source of moral or spiritual support. Lewis highlights how isolation can make a person more susceptible to manipulation, as they become more reliant on the manipulator for guidance and validation. This tactic is just as effective in the real world. When someone deliberately isolates you from your support network, they create an environment where their influence can grow unchecked. As you lose connections with others, your sense of self becomes clouded, and your dependency on them increases. The manipulation that follows is easier to execute because they're the only ones left who seem to care about you, making it all the more difficult to break free. If you begin to notice that someone in your life is subtly isolating you, whether by criticizing those around you or making you feel guilty for spending time with others, it's a sign that they may be trying to control you. The longer you stay isolated, the harder it will be to see their true intentions. Recognizing this behavior early on is crucial to reclaiming your autonomy and breaking free from their influence. Sign 5. A strong sense of entitlement. The fifth and final sign that someone in your life may be influenced by dark forces is a strong and almost overwhelming sense of entitlement. This is a person who believes they deserve special treatment, privileges, or rewards, regardless of their actions or the effort they've put into earning them. Their entitlement often feels disproportionate to their circumstances, and it can be a deeply troubling characteristic that sets them apart from others. People with this sense of entitlement often feel as though the world owes them something. They may expect others to cater to their needs or desires without considering the cost or effort involved. Whether it's in personal relationships at work or in social situations, they feel that they deserve the best of everything, even if it comes at the expense of others. You may hear them say things like, "I've been through so much, I deserve this," or "people should recognize what I bring to the table." They believe that their needs or desires should always take precedence. This sense of entitlement isn't just about material things, it also extends to emotional and social expectations. They may believe they should always be the center of attention, or that others should constantly validate them and their choices. They may demand respect without offering it in return, or expect loyalty and affection without earning it. This behavior stems from a distorted view of their own worth, as though they are above others or deserving of things that haven't been earned. Such individuals often have a manipulative attitude that plays on the emotions of others, making it difficult to say no to them. When they don't get what they want, they may resort to guilt-tripping, emotional outbursts, or even passive-aggressive behavior to force others into complying. This creates a toxic cycle where their sense of entitlement grows, and others become worn down by their constant demands. This pattern of behavior can be traced to a sense of inner emptiness or spiritual disconnection. When someone feels entitled to everything, it often comes from a place of deep insecurity, a desire to control their environment to mask feelings of inadequacy or fear. This psychological need for control and recognition can be seen as a sign of spiritual brokenness, one that can easily open the door to dark influences. Dark forces thrive in environments where individuals are driven by pride and an inflated sense of self. In the Screwtape Letters, C.S. Lewis explores how a sense of entitlement can be a dangerous doorway to temptation. Screwtape, the senior demon, teaches Wormwood that one of the best ways to corrupt a person is by fostering a sense of pride and entitlement. The goal is to convince the person that they are deserving of special treatment, that their desires are more important than those of others, and that their own will should always be obeyed. This creates a fertile ground for manipulation and darkness to take root. From a spiritual perspective, the Bible also warns against a sense of entitlement. In Philippians 2 verse 3, it says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves." This verse speaks to the importance of humility over selfishness. A person driven by entitlement, especially one who feels they deserve things without effort or merit, is moving in the opposite direction of this biblical wisdom. The problem with entitlement is that it can blind someone to the needs and perspectives of others. They become so consumed with what they believe they deserve that they no longer see or care for the well-being of those around them. Over time, this behavior can create rifts in relationships, strain personal connections, and lead the person further down a path of spiritual and emotional isolation. If you notice someone consistently displaying a sense of entitlement, demanding special treatment without considering the needs of others, it's a sign that they may be influenced by dark forces. This mindset feeds on pride, control, and selfishness, ultimately causing harm to those who are caught in its wake. Recognizing this behavior early can help you protect yourself from being manipulated by it and remind you of the importance of humility and selflessness. So there you have it, the 5 signs that someone in your life might be under the influence of witchcraft, manipulation, or dark control, as explained through the lens of C.S. Lewis's profound insights. Whether it's the manipulative nature disturbing knowledge, ability to change perceptions, isolation tactics, or the overwhelming sense of entitlement, these are the subtle signs that can help you identify when someone is trying to control or manipulate you. C.S. Lewis understood that the most dangerous forms of manipulation don't always come from the overtly evil or the obviously malicious. Often, they come from those who are charming, persuasive, and seemingly well-meaning people who can twist reality in ways that make it hard to even recognize that you're being controlled. Stay aware of the signs, trust your instincts, and remember that through faith and discernment, you can protect yourself and those around you. Take care, and God bless you.